Stevie Wonder, by virtue of being himself, has always been in the dark. And for the sake of decency, we don't mean any offense with the title. For those who don't already know, Stevie Wonder has always been physically blind. So what is this dark truth that we're really talking about here? No digs intended. Although Stevie learned how to play music while growing up blind, he's had to overcome so many other challenges. Now, ain't no doubt that he's an inspiration to many, but does he have any scandals regarding the way that he's conducted his personal life? Or perhaps this kind of a question is turned around to become his regret. So Stevie Wonder has done it all and is one of the most influential artists in music history. From being a preteen musical prodigy to creating classic Motown hits. He experimented with different sounds in the 1970s and topped the charts with duets. He especially played a huge role in shifting the music industry's focus from singles to albums, and even in his 70s, the man is still making new music, teasing his first album in almost 20 years. Now, maybe you want to know how old Stevie was when he first got signed, or which song earned him an Oscar, or which Motown legend played drums on his first #1 hit. Okay, so Stevie Wonder was born as Stevland Hardaway Judkins on May 13, 1950 in Saginaw, Michigan, to songwriter Lula Mae Hardaway and Calvin Judkins. Now, after his parents divorced when he was 4, Stevie, his mama, and his siblings moved to Detroit, Michigan. Now, his mom later changed his last name to Morris, making his full name Stevland Hardaway Morris. Now, he attended Fitzgerald Elementary School in Detroit. Now, Stevie's been blind almost since birth. Now, he was born 6 weeks premature, and doctors believe that the oxygen-rich environment in the incubators at the time caused his retinas to detach, leading to his blindness. He explained in an interview with Larry King that he wasn't born blind, but shortly after being born, he went blind due to what happened because of the oxygen used in the incubators. Now, a lot of kids born in the 50s faced the same issue before doctors found a different way to handle things. Now, Stevie started playing the piano when he was just 5 years old, and it wasn't long before he picked up the drums and the harmonica, too. A neighbor, Margaret Terry, noticed his talent and helped him out. He used to play a lot with just one finger, so she showed him how to use both hands to make it sound better. Now, after that, all he wanted to do was play music, and from then onwards, his dream was to one day be better at the piano than Margaret. Now, Stevie eventually teamed up with Margaret's brother, John Glover, to form a duo called Stevie and John. Stevie handled lead vocals and bongos while John played guitar and sang harmonies. John Glover changed Stevie's life forever by introducing him to his cousin Ronnie White, who was a member of the Miracles. Ronnie took the duo to Motown for an audition, and both of them got signed. Now, John later became a songwriter, writing hits like the 1976 #1 song, You Don't Gotta Be a Star to Be in My Show, for Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. Now, even before he was signed, Stevie had already earned the nickname Little Stevie Wonder from producer Clarence Paul because of his young age and amazing talent. Now, since he was still so young, Stevie was signed to a 5-year rolling contract with his royalties kept in trust until he turned 21. In the meantime, he was paid just $2.50 to cover his expenses. Now, Stevie and Clarence Paul went on to record Tribute to Uncle Ray, an album that included some Ray Charles covers and a couple of original songs like Sunset. They also recorded an instrumental album called The Jazz Soul of Little Stevie, which featured a few Stevie and Paul collaborations like Wonderin' and Session Number 112. They tried to release a single called Mother Thank You, but it was replaced by Berry Gordy's I Call It Pretty Music, but the old people call it the blues. Now, unfortunately, the single only reached number 101 on the charts, and the follow-up singles Little Water Boy and Contract on Love, along with both albums, also didn't do too well either. Now, a lot of them was released in the fall of 1962. Now, although Stevie's early recordings did make a big impact on the charts, his talent was still undeniable, and things quickly turned around for the guy. That winter, he joined the Motown Revue Tour. During a performance at the Regal Theater in Chicago in June 1962, he delivered an amazing version of Fingertips. The instrumental, originally written by Clarence Paul and Henry Cosby, was featured on the Jazz Soul of Little Stevie to highlight his bongo and harmonica skills. But the live version of Fingertips was something special, with Stevie even adding a few improvised lyrics to it. The song shot the #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making Stevie, at just 13 years old, the youngest person ever to achieve that feat at the time. Even with his record-breaking success, Stevie struggled to repeat it right away. As he grew older and his voice changed, there was even talk of Motown canceling his contract in 1964. Now, luckily, Motown writer and producer Sylvia Moy convinced Berry Gordy to give Stevie another chance. Now, she and Hank Cosby wrote Uptight Everything's Alright after hearing Stevie improvise on the piano. Released in late 1965, the song topped the R&B charts and reached #3 on the Hot 100. With his hit, Stevie Wonder had officially arrived, and this time, he was here to stay. Stevie Wonder's music career is nothing short of legendary. Now, he's released 23 studio albums, 3 soundtracks, 4 live albums, 11 compilation albums, 1 box set, and a whopping 91 singles. His very first album, the jazz solo Little Stevie, came out in 1962 when he was just 12 years old. Now, his most recent album, A Time to Love, was released in 2005. Now, over the years, Stevie has scored 10 #1 hits on the US pop charts and 20 #1 hits on the R&B charts, selling over 100 million records worldwide. Of those, 19.5 million are albums. With all these achievements and accomplishments, Stevie is one of the best-selling music artists of all time. Stevie released a total of 30 albums, with all of them being singles except for Songs in the Key of Life, which was released as a double album along with a bonus 4-track EP. Now, there's also 11 official compilation albums, and in 2005, a box set titled The Complete Stevie Wonder was released. Stevie holds the 8th spot on the list of artists with the most #1 hits on the US Billboard Hot 100. In short, the 1970s were the peak of Stevie's critical success. His classic period started in 1972 with Music on My Mind and Talking Book, which includes one of the biggest hits, Superstition. Now, this song is famous for its distinctive sound, thanks to the Hohner clavinet keyboard. Stevie followed up with Inner Visions in 1973, fulfilling this first finale in 1974, and Songs in the Key of Life from 1976. Now, all 3 albums won a Grammy Award for Album of the Year, making Stevie the only artist to win the award for 3 consecutive album releases. And then in the 1980s, Stevie entered into his commercial period, where he achieved his greatest hits and the highest level of fame. During this time, he saw increased album sales, participated in charity work, and collaborated with other music legends like Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. He also made a significant impact politically and appeared on television frequently. Despite the change of music landscape, Stevie has remained active in music and continues to be involved in political causes. Throughout his career, Stevie Wonder has sold over 100 million records, making him one of the best-selling artists of all time. In addition to the 3 consecutive Grammys he won early on, he's also won 25 Grammy Awards in total, which is the most by any male solo artist. He even took home an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for the Best Original Song for I Just Called to Say I Love You from the 1984 movie The Woman in Red. And over the years, Stevie's been honored in honorary degrees from universities across the U.S. Now, he's even been named a Doctor of Humane Letters, Doctor of Music, and Doctor of Fine Arts by several institutions. In 2016, Stevie was given the key to the city of Detroit, and an area in his childhood neighborhood was renamed Stevie Wonder Avenue. Now, Stevie's also received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Civil Rights Museum and was named a United Nations Messenger of Peace. In 2014, President Barack Obama awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, interestingly, Stevie was also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1989 at just 38 years old, making him the youngest living person ever to be inducted. Now, he's also been inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame, too. Now, some of Stevie's biggest hits include Fingertips, Uptight, Everything's Alright, Superstition, You Are the Sunshine of My Life, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours, I Wish, Sir Duke, I Just Called to Say I Love You, and Part-Time Lover. Now, these songs, among many others, have solidified Stevie Wonder's place as a true music icon. But Stevie Wonder was more than just a singles artist. As per his artistic legacy, he was one of the key figures who helped shift the music industry from viewing albums as just a collection of singles with some filler to seeing them as a complete, cohesive work of art. In 1972, when he gained full artistic control under a new Motown contract, Stevie didn't just push the boundaries of his music by experimenting with cutting-edge synthesizers. He also released a streak of 5 legendary albums. These included Music of My Mind and Talkin' Book, which is in addition to his 3 Grammy-winning albums already. Beyond his own hit singles and albums, he's also been involved in a lot of top collaborations throughout his career. Now, as far back as 1962, when he was only 12 years old, Stevie co-wrote, produced, and appeared on the Spinners hit single It's a Shame. Now, he also wrote and produced the lesser-known Supreme single Bad Weather in 1973 and Rufus's 1976 funk hit Tell Me Something Good. Now, if you're old enough, you might also recall that Stevie teamed up with Paul McCartney for the duets Ebony and Ivory and What's That You're Doing on Paul's 1982 Tag of War album. Now, he co-wrote the latter and played synth and piano in both tracks. He returned in 2012, playing harmonica on Only Our Hearts from Paul's Kisses on the Bottom. Now, Stevie's also played his harmonica on numerous songs over the years, with notable credits including Elton John's 1983 hit, I Guess That's Why They Call It the Blues, and Eurythmics' 1985 chart topper, There Must Be an Angel, Playing With My Heart. In 2004, Stevie added his signature harmonica to Rod Stewart's cover of What a Wonderful World, and a couple of years later, he made an appearance on Snoop Dogg's The Blue Carpet Treatment album. He also duetted with Barbra Streisand on the 2014 Partners version of her classic hit People. His 2022 single, Can't Put It in the Hands of Fate, featured Rhapsody, Cordae, Chica, and Busta Rhymes, and showed that he continues to be a relevant and influential figure in the music world. Stevie's been married 3 times. Now, his first marriage was to fellow Motown singer-songwriter Serena Wright in 1970, but they split amicably a couple of years later. Stevie didn't marry again until 2001 when he wed fashion designer Kai Millard. Now, they separated in 2009 and finalized their divorce in 2012. In 2017, Stevie married Tamika Bracey, and they're still together today. So essentially, the man's got 9 kids with 5 different women. Stevie's first kid, his daughter, Aisha Morris, was born in 1975 to Yolanda Simmons. Now, she's presently a singer who has toured and recorded with her dad. Stevie and Yolanda also had a son named Keita in 1977. Now, he's got a daughter, Sophia, and a son, Kwame, with a woman whose identity hasn't been publicly revealed. In 1983, Stevie had a son named Mumtaz Morris with Melody McCauley. With his second wife, Kai Millard, he had 2 sons, Rylan and Manla Rajay Carl Stevlin. Now, he also had 2 kids with his third wife, Tamika, including a daughter named Naya, who was born in December of 2014. On a lighter note, there was a rumor going around that Stevie Wonder is now officially single again. A judge in Los Angeles finalized his divorce from his second wife, Millard Morris, 6 years after they separated. Now, the judge granted him shared custody of their 2 sons, but Stevie, 65, has to pay $16,000 a month in child support. Stevie and Kai got married in September of 2001. Their oldest son, who was 14 at the time, sometimes performs as a drummer with his dad. Now, their youngest son, Madla, was born on May 13, 2005, Stevie's 55th birthday. Now, Stevie and Kai separated in 2009, and in August of 2012, Stevie filed for divorce. Now, 2 years after filing for divorce, Stevie welcomed his 9th child, Naya, into the world with his girlfriend, Tamika. Now, her name means one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, an annual week-long African-American celebration. Now, Stevie's oldest daughter, Aisha, who inspired his hit song Isn't She Lovely, was the one thing he said he needed in his life and music for a long time. Now, her name means strength and intelligence, and she's toured with Stevie and even appeared on his 2005 album, A Time to Love. In a 2014 appearance on The View, Stevie jokingly remarked on how he had a total of 22 kids while referencing his growing family. He became a dad for the first time in 1975 when his girlfriend gave birth to his daughter and then later on birthed his son. In 1983, Stevie had his 3rd kid, Mumtaz, with vocalist Melody McCauley, who sang with him for years. Now, his 4th kid, Sophia, was born in 1985, followed by his 5th, Kwame, 3 years later. Now, the idea of their mama remains a closely guarded secret. Now, whatever the case, in 2001 and 2005, Stevie welcomed 2 more sons, Kylan and Manla, with his ex-wife, Kai Millard, whom he divorced in 2012. In 2017, Stevie married Tamika, and by the time of their wedding, they had already welcomed 2 kids together. In an interview with the Oprah magazine in 2004, Stevie gave a lot of credit to the mothers of the kids, while commending them on how they raised the children well. He also made it clear that even though he wasn't still in relationships with some of the mamas, he wasn't an absent dad. He made sure to point out that he's not one of those fathers who just sends money. He insisted that he guides his kids as a father and talks to them as a friend. That way he can make sure that his kids can feel free to tell him anything. So it was no surprise that during a powerful discussion on the front page, Kylan Morris, a fashion model, designer, and community activist, teamed up with his father, the legendary Stevie Wonder, to talk about activism, responsibility, and the need for change. Now, no doubt as Stevie Wonder's son, he carries on a legacy of creativity and a strong commitment to social justice. Now, Stevie kicked off the conversation by talking about how proud he is of his kid's involvement in activism. He especially acknowledged the progress that's been made, but also stressed that there's still a lot of work to be done. Now, he also talked about the importance of responsible leadership, especially during the pandemic that's taken over so many lives. Now, Stevie also criticized how some people misuse religion to spread hate and division, expressing his disbelief that anybody could claim to love God while holding on to prejudice. His message was clear, which is change comes from unity and strength in numbers. Now, he urged everybody, especially his fans, to vote for the change that's needed. Now, he also made sure to emphasize that greatness is within reach, but only if people reject the idea that their votes don't matter. Now, the conversation also touched on the legacy of Barack Obama, the first black president of the United States. With regard to that, Stevie emphasized the importance of staying committed to making the world better, regardless of race or gender. He urged young people to stay engaged and demand the changes that they want, warning against distractions to take away from focus on important issues like systemic racism. As the discussion wrapped up, Kylan also echoed his dad's thoughts, stressing the need to stay focused on the change each person can make. He encouraged listeners tuning in that day to concentrate on the positive impact that they can have and to make sure that their efforts contribute to the larger movement for justice and equality. Kylan Morris himself was born in September 2001 to Stevie Wonder and his second wife, stylist and fashion designer Kai Miller. Now, growing up in Calabasas, California, he and his younger brother Manlove was surrounded by creativity and style. Even before he was 10, his parents had separated, but they'd already set him on a path towards his future career. From a young age, he was influenced by what his dad and his mom did, like performing in fashion shows, so he inevitably started soaking up as much as he could. Kylan's connection to music started early too. At some point, he even played drums on tour with his dad as a kid. After confiding in his father that Superstition was his favorite song, Stevie encouraged Kylan to come out and play it with him on tour. So his son ended up playing the drums for Superstition across multiple venues, and one interesting fact is Stevie always closed his show with that song. On top of that, Kylan was also drawn to fashion. So while growing up, he admitted that he was always around designer shoes and women's wear brands. He would always be at Fashion Week, and this was even before he knew enough about the showcase to love it. He was just there at the shows until he began to develop a passion for it. And despite their divorce in 2012, Kylan's parents stayed united in their love for their kids and their commitment to helping others. When he was around 12 or 13, instead of having a birthday party, Stevie and his mama decided to make a special day all about benefiting others. He recalled how they partnered with a nonprofit called All It Takes on each of his birthdays, and they would just host a charity basketball game. This experience had a lasting impact on him. This foundation of giving back definitely started then, and as Kylan got older, he wanted to create his own nonprofit. So in 2020, he launched a t-shirt designed through his fashion line, House of Rom, with proceeds going to the Black Lives Matter movement. Later on that year, he teamed up with the Italian brand Iceberg for a t-shirt collection, with the proceeds supporting the Watts Empowerment Center, an organization helping students across the internet for virtual learning. Now, it had always been a huge passion for him ever since he was a kid, to be able to provide and give back to communities, families, and people all around the world. Kylan has also pursued modeling, making his runway debut at Dolce & Gabbana's Spring-Summer 2019 show in Milan. However, as he explained to Rolling Stone, modeling was just the beginning. In fact, his game plan was to gain a more personal one-on-one experience with the designers and to see how they operate. Now, he credits his dad for inspiring his ambitions. Now, he's also openly acknowledged that one of the most influential things his dad ever said to him was that all your dreams, goals, and ambitions are out there in the world waiting for you. It's just a matter of you walking into them. Aisha Morris was born on April 7, 1975, to Stevie Wonder and Yolanda Simmons. His hit song, Isn't She Lovely, even features a recording of the little baby girl splashing around in the bathtub, capturing a heartfelt moment the Wonder cherished. She grew up in New Jersey with her brother and often joined her dad for important events like his induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As an adult, she became a mama and pursued a music career, even earning a Grammy nomination alongside her dad. By 2018, she was the music director at KJLH, a radio station owned by Wonder. She also appeared on Dancing with the Stars Juniors to support her brother Mandela and performed with her father in 2020 on Where's Our Love Song. Keita Morris, Aisha's younger brother, was born on April 7, 1977. He grew up in New Jersey, attended college, and later moved to New York City to start a record label known as DJ Jersey Wonder. Now, he also became a dad to 2 kids and remained active in the music scene. Mumtaz Morris, born on October 13, 1983, initially showed no interest in music, preferring sports instead. However, he eventually followed in his dad's footsteps, learning to sing and play the piano. He also graduated high school in 2001 and studied business in college while continuing to develop his music skills. He's also performed with his dad and worked on his own music projects, including a single with Snoop Dogg. Sophia Morris, born in July 1985, stayed out of the spotlight but later became involved in charity work in the arts. She collaborated on a jewelry piece designed in Braille and worked as a producer for events like Global Citizen Live. Kwame Morris, born on August 6, 1988, moved from Sydney to Los Angeles at age 12 and later pursued a career in sociology and media. He also modeled and launched his own eyewear line. In 2017, he and his father made headlines for taking a knee at the Global Citizen Festival in protest against police brutality. Now, his other son, Mandela, was born on May 13, 2005, and is Stevie Wonder's youngest son. Now, he grew up in California and gained some fame by competing on Dancing with the Stars Juniors at age 13. He also continues to work with his dad and appear on the cover of Oda magazine with his family. Now, Zaya and Naya are Wonder's youngest kids, born to his third wife, Tamika. Now, they both performed with their father at his House Full of Toys benefit concert in 2022 and contributed to the song Where's Our Love Song in 2020. And so, ultimately, from the looks of things, Stevie Wonder's got a great relationship with all of his kids. And more importantly, they respect and look up to him for inspiration in their daily lives. So what are your thoughts about Stevie Wonder and his journey? Which one of his songs was your favorite? Make sure you let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next episode.